You want a brand new home, but you gotta protect yourself from the greedy agents and the bad builders. So here are the 5 critical mistakes everyone makes when they're buying or building a brand new home. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Out of the hundreds of people I've helped to get into a brand new home, kind of like these, every single one of the best, most successful clients have one thing in common, and they're my kind of people. You know, I was a robotics engineer, so I was a data person, a details person, and a note-taking person. So if you want to be successful like them, take notes, take this seriously, pay attention, and don't make any of these 5 critical mistakes, starting with the home's brand new, so you don't need an inspection, right? Mistake 1, the house is new, so I don't need an inspection, right? One of my friends worked as a warranty rep for one of the larger regional builders here, and she told me a story about how she had gone out to this property because the homeowner was complaining about the living room getting really warm, then really cold, depending on the weather, and they wanted to figure out what might be the issue. And so when she got out there, she noticed that the exterior wall of their living room was bowing slightly outwards. And so when she started investigating, she tore off some of the siding and found that there was no house wrap behind the siding. And what house wrap does is it keeps all the outside air outside, all the inside air inside, and insulation slows down the energy transfer, but that house wrap slows down the air transfer so you don't get moisture and other things in behind your siding. And nobody had ever caught this because the siding subcontractor came on a weekend. They were behind schedule, tried to get caught up, and I guess they found that it wasn't properly house wrapped when they got there, and they said, not my problem, and just kept going. And that particular homeowner didn't get an inspection because they thought, you know, it's a brand new house, right? And the most mind-blowing part of all of it is that was not actually a warrantable item because it was outside of that 2-year period. Now, the important thing through this is to remember that certain problems, especially really big problems, are not going to be fast problems. They're going to be slow problems that build and build and build until it's a massive issue. And there won't always be something really obvious right away that'll let you know that there is some sort of problem. And so that's why, at least with our clients, we don't even do just one inspection. We have a 6-step inspection process to virtually guarantee that when you move in, there's no surprises, there's no gotchas, and you know exactly what you paid for. Mistake number 2, if something is wrong, won't the builder just take care of it after close? There's a home inspector in Arizona who is currently being sued by one of the largest, most trusted home builders in America because he publicly outs that home builder's defects, because particularly in that region, you know, all builders are different region by region because of leadership and management and the people they hire. But at least in that region, that builder is garbage. And he's not afraid to show it on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. And so they took legal action against him, and it finally got resolved recently. But it took over a year. It took thousands and thousands of dollars for him to be able to protect himself. And it was a really unfair situation. And in fact, it got so bad that that builder won't even let you inspect. They won't let anybody inspect their home prior to close anymore, which I have a huge problem with because these are also the same builders that just won't take care of anything after close. The biggest lesson in all of this is that you don't want to accept anything, you don't want to close on anything that you do not know has everything done correctly and everything you care about done the way you want. Even when you're signing a contract, they will have restrictions in there on what and how you can inspect, and you want to make sure that they give you all the rights you need to inspect properly, and it's not just a basic home inspection. There's multiple layers to this that, again, we guide all of our clients through. To put it simply, the only thing that's guaranteed is what you accept on the day of close. Mistake number 3, I don't need a realtor, do I? Because the builder has their sales agent, so they can just help me, right? You don't ever need a realtor. I want to be really clear about this. You never need a realtor. You don't need a realtor to buy. You don't need a realtor to sell. You don't need a realtor to do anything. You also don't need a dentist to pull your tooth, and you don't need a proctologist to stick his finger up. What you do need is an expert who has been there, done that, who can protect your interests when there's somebody else you're dealing with who is not protecting your interests. Juan and Myra are a couple of my clients, love them. They are some of the best clients and most patient clients I've worked with, and some of my favorites because I'm an engineer by trade. Juan is also an engineer by trade. We get to nerd out and talk about all the engineering things, and he has great attention to detail, which I also love because I like getting things right and he wants to get things right too. When we were going through the purchase process with a builder that I've worked with previously, but a new sales rep, this sales rep told us that there were certain things that we couldn't do and could do that were important to my clients. And we made really concerted effort to get all of it in writing before signing contracts and moving forward because I haven't worked with this sales rep before, and so I wasn't sure quite what to expect. And we got almost everything in writing. However, what we found out after being under contract was this sales rep had a reputation for lying out of his ass constantly, and he also left the company. He left the company a week after signing contracts, and he had made so many promises that were factually and materially false. However, because we had a lot of what we had requested in writing, we were able to get the builder to still honor that or face greater consequences. And so even the North Carolina Real Estate Commission says this explicitly. Just because somebody can help you doesn't mean that they should help you. Out of the hundreds of sales agents around Charlotte and North Carolina that I've met and worked with, there are only 5 that come to mind who really had integrity. And at the end of the day, they'll even tell you they represent the builder, not you. They have to further the interests of the builder and squeeze every last penny out of you that they can and not help you because that's how they keep their job. They want to stay employed. And so the North Carolina Real Estate Commission even requires that on the first point of contact, when you contact a builder, when you show up there, they require that they tell you that they are a sub-agent of the seller, which means that they owe you no loyalty. You should not give any personal or private information to them, and that they represent and give full loyalty to the builder, and that they do not represent you and they can assist you to sign contracts and get into a pickle. But at the end of the day, they have to help the builder completely, totally, and fully by their employment agreement. And by law, they are obligated to help the builder and not help you. And if they go against that, they can be sued a lot. So do make sure everything's in writing. The contract is king. You want to make sure everything is in there. And most importantly, never waive your right to representation. Which brings us to mistake number 4. I've heard that some builders will give me a discount if I waive my right to representation. Is that true? There are good builders and there are bad builders. There are good sellers and bad sellers, good agents and bad agents. And what all the good ones have in common is they want you to retain, they want you to keep your right to representation for a couple of different reasons. One, it's less liability, it's less work, it's easier to work as one professional with another professional and let the other professional work directly with a client. But 2, and this is really the biggest one, anybody that is reasonable when it comes to what their property's worth and making sure that you get a good home is also reasonable when it comes to wanting you to have adequate representation. And I bumped into this very recently because there's one builder that has many different issues. And I won't say the name of the builder because, again, I don't want to get sued like Cy did. But we'll say it may or may not rhyme with Lion Homes because they be lying. But anyways, I had a client who just was driving by, saw it, and thought, I'll pop in. It's no big issue, and let me know about it afterwards. And what this builder did was unbelievable. They told the sales agent that they were already working with a realtor, and the sales agent said, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just show you some different things, and we can go ahead and you tell me what you think." So they looked at a couple of different homes, and there was one that they kind of liked, and the sales agent said, "Hey, I can actually knock $25,000 off the price of this if you sign by midnight tonight," and it's like 8 p.m. And he was like, "But you have to decide by midnight tonight. You don't want to miss out. Don't want to miss out." And started using all these high pressure sales techniques. and saying, oh, don't worry about, we can just talk to your agent later. We don't need to talk to your agent now, we can talk to him later. And was trying to make it so that my client had to make a decision without adequate representation. I don't care, I get paid either way. I really do not care. What I do care about though is protecting my clients, and when certain builders try to make that difficult, they want to interfere and try to cut around people that are already working with a realtor that disclose it, that say, yes, I love my realtor and I'm not making, again, I love these clients because thank you, Jason, for calling me and bringing me up to speed on the situation, because I was able to tell him what I tell everybody about Lion Homes is they have terrible issues with their plumbing. This particular builder that, I'm not gonna say who it is, they have terrible issues with their plumbing, and I know this because one of my past clients was a GM for a plumbing company that told me their fleets were single-handedly kept in business by aging homes from this builder that would spring leaks in the walls, and the builder was like, not my problem. Go get your own person. We're not gonna warranty it, and if you have a problem, sue us. And so luckily my client was able to avoid that, but you have to be very, very mindful. One, the sales agent that represents the builder, and two, there's some really, really nasty people in this business who will use very manipulative, high-pressure sales techniques to try to force you to do something that you will regret. So what do? Well, number one, never waive your right to representation, because you do have that right, and you should never let some sleazy sales agent from a bad builder try to convince you otherwise. And second, work with somebody who can help you get ready to buy. I see so many people that want to buy a home fast, and most people don't know this because I know this is not typical for your average greedy real estate agent. But I help a lot of people. I have numerous clients I've helped for a year or 2 years to get ready to buy, to pay down debt, to build up their credit, to build up their savings in order to make a decision for the right home, for the right deal that's going to be a blessing for them, not only on the day they close, but for years to come, and won't be a stressor. It'll be a peaceful home. A bad decision can crush you. I saw that happen to my parents. I don't want that to happen to you, but a great decision, a great home, a great purchase can be a blessing for years to come. Moving on to mistake number 5. My friend's sister's barber's dog has their real estate license, and all realtors are the same, right? So I'll just work with them. I got a call from Richard, who's the next door neighbor to Tanika and Tyler, a couple of our past clients that are some of my favorite people in all the world. And his story was all too common. When he purchased that particular home, his realtor didn't go with him to any of the builders, didn't know anything about new construction or the new construction process, didn't help him shop around to get a good rate. And so he felt like he was in a really bad situation. He felt like he was paying too much for too little of a house. His girlfriend wanted more space. They had found something from another builder that they were really excited about. And he was like, you know what? I don't even care as long as I don't lose too much money, I want to just sell and move on to this new home. And I was like, Richard, can I be really honest with you? I don't think you need a new home. What I think you need to do is just refinance. You got a bad deal on the loan, but you don't have to. I can introduce you to people. And you don't need, I would love to help you sell and buy, but I would much rather that you feel good about it afterwards. And I don't think this is going to be a good decision 2, 3, 5 years from now. And I made him promise to sleep on it, think on it. And then I was like, if you still want to do it tomorrow, we can talk about it then, but sleep on it first. And so he did. He called me the next day and he was like, Lucas, I'm so thankful. You're the only realtor that's ever talked me out of doing something. And I'm so grateful because I'm going to refinance. I'm going to stay here for a couple of years. And then I will absolutely give you a call when we're ready to move on to that next house. But I agree. I think right now there's better solutions than uprooting and moving again. And I tell this story because there's so many realtors out there that more than anything, they need a deal. Nobody knows this, but 80% of realtors do 3 deals or less per year. I will do more deals in any given month than many realtors do in their entire careers. And so I don't need the deal. I want you to do what's right for you. I want the word of mouth. I tell everybody my goal is the 5-star experience. And the 5-star experience is during the purchase process, when you get your keys, and for years to come. And if you don't feel good about all of that, so what do? If you're looking to buy a new construction home, you need to find somebody who's an expert in buying and an expert in new construction. And it's pretty easy to spot a true expert. If you ask them really basic questions like, what is the structural package for a specific type of builder? And you can ask them about, do they use a slab? Do they use a crawl space? What sort of foundation do they use? Are they using steel mesh, reinforced rebar? What are the materials that are going into the foundation and the frame? And if they can't answer that, they probably don't know anything about new construction. And second, always see what their past clients say, because I've never met somebody who's truly an expert, who's been in the field for a while, who doesn't have a million happy clients who are happy to say very wonderful things about their experience solving the exact problem that you're trying to solve by finding an expert to work with. Now, only my best clients do all their research, take great notes, and really take this process seriously. So I commend you for making it this far in the video because it shows that you're serious. I know you're gonna be successful. Again, go back to the beginning of this video, watch it again, take notes, and never hire any realtor unless all their past clients have things to say about them, kind of like this.
My home buying experience was fantastic.
It was a quick process. It didn't take multiple weeks.
Anxiety free, easy.
Really cared about the solution.
Great to work with, helpful. You always make the time just to talk to us.
Communication was great.
They're attentive, communicative, understanding of where you're at.
We got a great deal, and we beat the rest of the buyers.
Like that.
I would recommend you guys to anybody, any day, anytime.
If you'd like a free, no obligation conversation with me to see if I might be able to help you, you can call, text, email, or scan this QR code to book a time directly on my calendar so I can learn more about your goals and see if I might be able to be of service to you. My name's Lucas Roller, your realtor to build or buy the perfect brand new home here in the beautiful Queen City and all of the Carolinas. And as always, until next time, hope to show you around.